feel like someone needs to talk about this because I have never, ever, ever heard anyone else talk about this. I'm seeing it all over and I see it a lot. Okay, so I've done some videos before about how I take minoxidil. I have some alternative hair and some tricks that I've had to do in the past for hair loss. And I think it took me a long time to realize it and recognize it in myself because I hadn't been through it before and I didn't realize where this is going. I thought it's just like normal thinning because of menopause and that kind of thing and getting older, which does happen. But that used to be a rare thing. I was raised around a lot of adults, a lot of menopausal and older women, and it was an extremely rare thing for women to have noticeable, alarming hair loss. I've had a flood of women. So many have reached out. I was really surprised at how many women are struggling with this. Now that I've started to experience it myself, I have started noticing all over the place the beginning stages of hair loss in so many young women. Those early signs that I missed for a while, and I'm seeing it a lot. I'm seeing it with women I know, moms who are younger, some much younger than I am, people I follow on social media, most of them before they've reached menopause, some girls in their 20s. I'm not talking about my daughters. If you're watching this, don't get freaked out. It wasn't something I was looking for. I wasn't expecting other women to have hair loss issues. I still thought it was a super rare thing. But I'm realizing more and more that it's not. It's becoming more common. Even many women and girls who aren't anywhere close to menopause. And I thought maybe I was crazy. Maybe it was all in my head until I Googled and saw information about the study about how alopecia is increasing in women. It's not in my head. It's not just that I'm noticing it more because I struggle with the issue. It really is increasing statistically. And so that tells you that there is something in our environment. So you look at the poisons in our food, you look at water, you look at the plastics that our bodies are full of, you look at all the chemicals and everything. I know our bodies are full of inflammation, probably just like everything else. It's really complex and it's a myriad of things. And I felt like I've been through this before. I have a couple of kids who have a gluten intolerance. At the time when I first had one that was diagnosed, no one had ever heard of it. Restaurants, stores, like no one was talking about it back then. In the past almost 20 years that my family has been dealing with it, it has exploded. It has become absolutely epidemic. It feels like everyone has an autoimmune or food allergy or something like that in their life. We've been gaslit for a long time. Now, like every family has something. And alopecia is an autoimmune disorder. It's not like cancer where it's life-threatening, but it's certainly life-altering. Practically commonplace, and it used to be rare, just like autism, just like colon cancer in people under 40, just like celiac disease and gluten intolerance. But the more and more it piles on, your eyes just open up. And 20 years later, it's an epidemic. I would not wish this on anyone. And I'm a mom of 2 daughters. I don't want this to be in their future. I'm noticing it on girls and women who have really thick hair, not anything you would expect to be in their future. Their moms didn't have that issue. My mom didn't have that issue. If this is happening when they're that young, those beginning stages that I didn't see until I was nearly 50, then I just worry about what's going to happen to them once they hit menopause. I don't want to wait 20 years until it's an epidemic for us to figure out when this generation is balding in their 30s, and by the time they have menopause, they're all having to wear wigs. I don't want it to be commonplace for our daughters and these young moms and future generations to be going bald, like full-on baldness. Something is going on and this isn't normal. This is increasing. Why? And let's get ahead of this one before it turns into gluten and autism and autoimmune disorders. We have lost so much ground on our health. We owe these younger generations better. This wasn't going on 40 and 50 years ago when I was a kid. It was rare, as were all of these other things. And this is just another thing. And who knows what other things are going to pop up. You need to ask the questions. But let's talk about it.